But I genuinely believe people should be kinder to themselves, love themselves a little more. Talk to yourself like you're your best friend, because sometimes we're our own worst enemies. And you have to understand there's some mediocre random weirdo out there that's doing the thing, and you absolutely have everything in your power to do the thing that you want to do.
Hello and welcome back to Splitting Seams. My name is Shannon and I am your host. Today's guest is Olivia from Alchemat's Materials and Hardware. She's another good friend of mine. We have been friends since sometime in 2021, and that's around the time that I became a striker for her. She is someone who is extremely generous, and she has some really unique designs, really intricate hardware, fabric, all those things. All that's great, but really I wanted her to come on because I think that it's really great to have the perspective of someone who, since we are referencing these different shops and materials, striking for these different owners and things like that, I thought she would be a great person to come on and talk about her experiences on the shop owner side of that. It's great for conversations we have had to have that contrast, but also for conversations that we'll have in the future. Olivia's personality is one where her giggles are infectious. You know, she doesn't take herself too seriously, but she also does really care about those around her. She gets just as excited about your success as she gets about her own, maybe even more so. So she's all around just a good friend and a great hype queen to have on your side. So I hope that you enjoy our conversation. We talked a lot about the behind the scenes and kind of how her past experience of being a cosplayer has kind of helped her with her business as it is now, working with artists to curate and create art for these different fandoms that she celebrates and uses in her various designs, and just kind of what it's been like working with others in the community, either strikers or fellow business owners. So again, a unique perspective, and one that I hope that you enjoy. So without further ado, here is Olivia. Hey, Olivia.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, welcome to Splitting Seams.
Yay! Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, you know, when I first decided I was going to do the podcast, you were one of the first few people that I told. I was telling Lauren that day, and I was also chatting with you, and I told you, and you were just so gung-ho. You are everyone's loudest cheerleader, and it's the best thing. But and so, you know, I needed Lauren to tell me that it was a possibility, and I needed you to give me the encouragement I needed to do it.
Right.
So just wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, I hope I helped. I was so excited.
Always. And then, you know, as we were talking, you were like, I hope I can be on the show. And I had already decided to have you on. So I'm just glad that you're here.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad that we were able to make it happen.
Yes, of course. Anything for you. We're like good buddies. So it means a lot to me.
So yes, I think that, you know, we've had Lauren is kind of all encompassing in our sewing world.
Yes.
And then we had a designer.
Yes.
And then we had a maker who is an avid tester and striker. And then now we have you, who is, I refer to you as a supplier, although I guess other people would call you a vendor.
Yeah.
But so I think, you know, you're going to bring a really great perspective to add to the prior conversations and then the upcoming conversations as well. So I really am glad that you're here.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, can you introduce yourself a little bit and your business?
Okay, I'll try.
It's always the worst.
I know, it's
the worst.
Okay. My name is Olivia, and I'm the owner of Alchemats. And I've been in business for, has it been 5 years now? 5, 6 years in the community?
So. I think you started early 2020.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it's been a while. And I hope I could offer some insight on what it's like to be an owner in this community. I know everyone has different experiences and maybe different ways of doing stuff, but I hope I can like share that with me because I know people have been curious about the person behind everything. So,
Right.
yeah, I think that's a good start.
Yeah. And so your business,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about that? Like what you offer, kind of what your niche is, things like that.
Right. So I sell custom hardware and fabrics. Um, when I first started, I actually was mainly hardware. That's what I was interested in. And then it eventually moved into fabrics. I originally actually was not, it was supposed to be just a one-off type of thing. I didn't want to do fabric, but then I loved the creative aspect of it. And I felt like it was an outlet for my creativity. So then I started doing more fabric, but it's a whole different crazy ball field than hardware. And of course, juggling all of that and all the different materials. So I also offer vinyl, printed vinyl, recently debossed vinyl, and then yeah, the hardware is like magnets, zipper pulls, things like that. Yeah, that's my shop.
So fabric, custom fabric,
Yes.
hardware. And when we say custom, for those that don't know,
Yes.
it just means like it's artwork that you either curated or did yourself and
Right.
then had manufactured based off of, your own designs or your own ideas. And so it's something that's not readily available and it's not necessarily mass produced. It's just manufactured on a need to for you on a basis based on your sales, your pre-orders, how much you determine that you need to pre-order and such like that.
Right.
So it's a small business catering to a small crowd.
Yes.
With a very specific small themes that
Very
run
niche.
consistently.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's usually it's themes that I personally love because I'm a huge freaking nerd. And as you know, I get really, really into things. I hyperfixate, I obsess, and I just
Yes.
like cannot get things out of my head. And the only way to like stop my crazy is to make something and then I'll move on.
Yes. As we know,
Yes.
Astarion, the print.
Oh,
was a great
Mysterian.
example.
Yes. Baldur's Gate. I freaking love that man. Oh my God, my boyfriend. Yes. Or like K-pop Demon Hunters. I was
Yes.
so freaking obsessed with it. I was like listening to the music 24/7 while I was playing World of Warcraft. I was like listening to Takedown. I was like watching the movie like in the background for like I think I watched it like 15 times and then I deep dive things like things from like behind the scenes stuff, artwork, traditional artwork that was inspiring to the movie and to even down to like cut scenes and all this other stuff. I just went like full blown. This is my whole personality. I don't even know what I am anymore. Maybe I'm Derpy Tiger. I don't know. Like, yeah, so I get really into it.
No, yeah. But you also like that's a great sort of I guess metaphor for your business as a whole too.
Right.
Because I mean you put your all, even though it's big picture, you still hyper focus on it. You still
Yes.
pay attention to every detail. You still like do all of that for your business as well, but you also do that when it comes to things that you love too. So it's it's a good example of kind of how your brain works and the level in which you definitely care.
Yeah, I definitely do because I'm super passionate. I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I'm a true fan and nerd to all these fandoms. And my motto, I guess, for my shop is like made by a fan for fans. So I really, every aspect, I make sure everything is like accurate. I love hiding things in designs that like a true deep fan will know. And I even go as far as making sure the artists really know that content too. I'll literally tell them, you need to watch this before we start. And if they don't have time for that, I'll tell you more about it later, but like I go beyond. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Hmm.
That's fair. So you didn't always do this. Obviously, we said that you had started this in 2020-ish.
Yes.
So what did you do before you opened up this business? Because the bag making and the sewing world has been around for a while.
Yes.
So you were obviously doing something before then.
Yeah. Yes. So I have a background in sewing, and it all started like when I was really young in like high school. And I loved sewing and I loved nerdy stuff. I was vice president of the anime club. And I went to conventions, and that's where I discovered cosplay. I made my first costume on a toy sewing machine. It was just a straight stitch. That's it. Super janky, but I loved it. So I made that costume, and it opened up to all kinds of things like crafting. I loved making props. I loved making all kinds of things. I had to learn how to be a model, do all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in the cosplay world, it really kicked my butt because it forced me to learn a lot of things and go outside of my comfort zone and, grow, because you can only grow if you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And through that, I think, and I'll talk about this later, but I learned so much from the cosplay world that I've translated and used in my current business now. And it has helped me a lot because a lot of these things are learned skills because I'm not naturally super outgoing. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm actually a very nervous person. I'm like I would call it an extroverted introvert. And so I'm very uncomfortable. But cosplay kind of pushed me to be, I guess, helped me with like speaking and talking. Because
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
stuff like I traveled outside of the US, guesting, doing panels. I did a lot of public speaking, speaking to fans. I sold merchandise, so that really helped me. It taught me marketing. It taught me um, branding, which is a huge thing that helped. And I was selling products too, so I taught me how to like do customer service and things like that. Um, and I can talk more about specific situations where cosplay stuff have helped me handle things as much as like even like uh, being canceled or like dealing with hate and uh, just everything. Um, but yeah, for me, it was my way of like cosplay was a way that I could express myself, and it was a form of art that was actually like acceptable for my family because they're traditional Asians, and they always want you to be a doctor or a lawyer. And then growing up, they would be like, "Why do you want to draw? Why do you want to do art? You're wasting your time because it's not going to make you money. It's not going to be profitable." And funny that now it's like my biggest expense for my business. And that it's so freaking
Yes.
expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like this
Yeah.
whole time, I could have done it myself. It would have been cheaper. Um,
Right.
but yeah, so I did years of that. Um, and I don't want people to look it up, but it really shows why I'm so freaking nerdy. I was even in a World of Warcraft commercial because of my intense love for World of Warcraft. I still play it today, but don't look it up. Don't look it up. It's really embarrassing. But it kind of
As everybody pauses to go
go
look it
Google
up.
it. No, don't look it. But it taught me a lot about like, working with companies, working with others, uh, media, doing stuff like this interview and doing I love doing Facebook Lives for my business, and that kind of helps me be better at that. I
Hmm.
even was part of like a BuzzFeed series, which also please don't look it up. It's pretty freaking embarrassing. But yeah, but that like gave me insight on like production and like all kinds of things that I think relate to business, especially working with others and collaborators and people having different roles and different things to be able to produce a product. So
Right.
that really helped me with my business. And then after that, I went through the whole what every Asian family wants you to do. I went into the medical field. I was working my way to becoming a PA. I worked as a medical assistant at Stanford Pediatrics Neurology for a while, but I was miserable. I was not happy because I loved art.
It's just so much work and it's so stringent and it's a bit less sterile, you know?
Yeah, like I was passionate about helping people and I loved my patients, but I just felt empty. I felt alone. I was really sad and depressed, and I really wanted to find community again. And I wanted to find like friends, that meant something to me, but I was just so sad working in that field. And I think because of that, I would say that the custom sewing community really saved my life because I was in like a really dark, deep hole. And then coming into this community was like a breath of fresh air. There's like some good times and bad times, but there was more good times, and people in this community really like made it worth continuing to do this. And so what led to that was the pandemic hit, right? And people were looking for masks. So I never half-ass anything. You know this. I just go full on crazy. So I was like, I'm going to sell masks. Why not? But I donated a lot too. And I used my own stash, like character cottons. And I sewed and donated and sold a ton of masks. And I named my business Alka Mask because I was like a play on word because I love nerdy alchemy stuff. And I was thinking, oh, and then masks. Haha, funny. And put it together. And even my logo is actually as you can see here, it's an alchemy circle. So I made that. And then in my quest to find really cool fabric, I found the custom world. I think it was like Backstitch or something that I like fell into, and I just like loved it. And then I just bought so much shit. I bought so much stuff.
As we all do. As we all do. It's so easy. The second you get into the custom fabric world, you fall straight down that hole very quickly.
I think I bought more than I made stuff. So that was kind of a problem. And then I found Lauren Mormino on YouTube, and it taught me how to sew bags. And I was like, that is really cool. I would like to make bags, how I moved from masks to bags. And I wanted to create like an offshoot of Alchemats to bags. I made 2 bags, and that's it. But in my quest to making the perfect nerdy bag, I wanted hardware specific to a video game that was really popular at the time, but I couldn't find it. So I was like, well, F it. Of course, you know me. I'm going to go hard. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just do it myself. Why not? So I researched, I looked it up, I found a supplier, I bought the mold, and I got like a couple hundred pieces of zipper pulls that I was like, I just wanted 10. Like, what the hell am I going to do with all this stuff? So I decided, okay, maybe I'll ask the community and see if anyone wants my extra hardware. But of course, I'm not going to just like YOLO destash it or whatever. I always, even if it's not going to be something, I always want to make and create something that maybe has a chance to be something more, right? Than just like a hobby or whatever. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to open my shop and to just sell off my stuff. And if they want more, I could probably get it. And so I named it Alka Mats because it came from Alka Mask. And the mats came from like my love of gaming, because gaming, the materials that you use to craft and make stuff we short form it, call it mats.
Shorten it, yeah.
Yes. So that's where it came from, alchemy mats. And I thought that was really cool because I'm providing cool stuff for people to create their own things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Alka mats came from. And yeah, it just kind of grew from there. It went from hardware to just one-off fabrics and then now just full-blown fabrics and all kinds of stuff. It just kept getting crazier and
Yeah.
crazier. And I love that because I never thought it would be a thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard to envision how far your business is going to grow. You
Right.
would like to think like, okay, well, you'll like to think of the milestones that you'll hit.
Right.
But you cannot envision all of them. It's literally impossible.
No.
Like, never in a million years would I figure that I would be doing a podcast right now.
Right? It's so crazy. Life is crazy.
But like, and so now you've added all this stuff to your list of offerings, and
Yes.
you've opened up an offshoot of Alchemats, right?
Yes.
Called Basic Crafts, where you also offer non-fandom based
Yes.
things like still somewhat inspired, but more of like novelty based. So, you're thinking like basic sort of symbols, icons, things like that can be used universally versus for one specific
Yes.
fandom, which is great.
I still want it to be custom and interesting because the inspired stuff, I think I mentioned this to you earlier, since I'm so heavily involved in every aspect of my business and the creations and the fabrics and the designs, I get creatively burned out like a lot. And even though sometimes my best ideas come from when I'm like running on zero empty creativeness and then all of a sudden I just like hyperfixate and go crazy. I wanted something different because I'm genuinely burned all the time creatively, right? Because I have to think of all these, because I'm constantly like, what can I do for this fandom that hasn't been done before, or I could do my own version of something that I think is cool. And that's like a lot of work. And then I wanted to do something that was more basic, but like more custom and cool that is more universal. And I'm having a lot of fun designing that.
Right.
More stuff coming soon for people to see, but I hope they like it. But it's just like two different types of styles of art that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And this allows you also, because in the custom world, again, for those that don't know, it tends to run on a pre-order basis, and in like small groups, like Facebook groups. And so you'll know about it because you're in this group, you're part of this small community for this one business, and the business owner or the strike team will announce that, hey, we're going to run this pre-order. These are the prints that are running. This is when it's open. You have this amount of days in which to purchase.
Right.
And then people purchase it. It comes in a couple months later. You process it and mail it out. And so that's the whole pre-order. But with that, your site's only open so many days out of the year. You can only offer so many things. And then when you're done processing a pre-order round, you have to then do a retail.
Yep.
And so those are just few and far between. And so I remember you telling me, you really wanted to just be able to be open more often, and offer standard hardware. But if your website was closed, then you couldn't offer the standard hardware that you had stocked at the time, because you would then not be able to offer anything else because you were in the midst of waiting for a pre-order, or you didn't have enough retail left. And so this like kind of expanding your business, it does what it's supposed to do. It opened up new avenues for you and allows you now to have more of a passive income. And you've even brought on Sam, fellow Palia player, she helps you out and she runs that side of things.
Right.
And so that's really cool and awesome that, you've been able to expand your business to that level too.
It took a while to get to that point because I've been wanting to have some way of having a shop that's open at all times. But it just could never feasibly happen because I'm very protective of my business. I have to make sure I have the right person to work with that really has the same work ethic as me, and that's willing to let me take the reins. And, of course, I always listen to people's like input, whatever, really important to me. But yeah, so Samantha has been my friend for like 20 some years. So, and before I even opened Basic Craft, I actually put her through the ringer. So for like over a year, I would have her come here and process
So
stuff.
she lives on the East Coast and you live on the West Coast.
Yes.
So she would fly across the US to
Mm-hmm.
come and help you process rounds, mail stuff out.
Yep.
You moved to you had the warehouse and then you moved back. And so she helped with that too, right?
Totally. And she's way better than me than at organizing. And I was like, bless you. This is amazing. So she made my space like usable and everything faster because everything has a home. Everything is amazing. She's incredible. She works super hard. And I was like, this is it. I can finally have a site that's open at all times while I deal with what is the norm in the custom world. Because I can discuss like how retail and pre-order works and how sometimes it like overlaps and it's really quite overwhelming in order to like continue to keep going. So it's really nice to have someone be able to take care of stuff that I just mentally and physically can't handle. But like retail, for those that don't know, is items that are on hand, right? So there's a faster turnaround time.
So they're in-house, ready to ship, ready to go, ready to get put in a box as soon as you can get to that order on your Shopify.
Yes, but I'm also the only person packing and shipping, and I hate saying that because I know other shop owners also are on their own too, solo owners. And I know people have told me that I rub them the wrong way when I say that, but I'm just trying to be transparent and really honest to my customers so they know, why does it take so long, right? So for me, turnaround time could be like up to 4 weeks. Other shops can be way faster, and I'm like, that's amazing, but that's not me because I offer so many different products. It takes so long to pack.
And you're only open every so often, whereas other people are open way more often. So customers have more frequent chance to purchase. And so you're less likely to get as huge of an influx of orders at one time if you're open more often. So that's understandable.
And to kind of like juggle that, because I'm not open very often, I offer pre-orders because it's easier for me to handle the influx of orders through pre-order. And I can also rerun things, right? And so in pre-orders, stuff that I don't have on hand, I have to order it for you. Right.
It's getting made to order based off of the amount that people buy. So essentially a pre-order is you create, as customers creating a list for you. You order that list. That list comes in and you fulfill based off of the orders.
Yes.
And so that's a lot to juggle because not only do you have to keep track of the various differences between pre-order and retail, you have to also account for scale, colorways, different prints, everything. It's a lot to juggle.
Right. And then there's sometimes, newer people to the community might not know the retail pre-order, way of how we run things. And so we also run into the issue when I rerun something and there might be an overlap, right? For in retail, they'll be like, I just pre-ordered this. Why is this in retail? And then it's like, because that was from the last pre-order, right?
Right.
And then the new pre-order, and from the last pre-order, the color you want might not be in stock. I might not have it. It's whatever I have left over. And then, when you pre-order, that's stuff that I order a new stock for. They're not the same stock.
Yeah. So let's say somebody orders in January through a pre-order.
Yep.
And then you run a second pre-order in March.
Yep.
And let's say you have a retail shortly after. Let's say in April, you have a retail in April. So people just pre-order something in March so you have your pre-order in January and then somebody missed it. So they're like, well, I'm going to pre-order when you rerun it. So a rerun is just essentially running the same thing again in that next pre-order, right? So the same products will be for sale in the same way.
Yeah.
But then, so they pre-order it in March and then April comes around and they're like, and they see it up for sale and they're like,
WTF?
Why is that for sale? Why is my neighbor able to buy it and get it tomorrow, but I have to wait 2 more months? Well, it's because it's the extras from the January round, not the extras from the March round.
Exactly.
So I can imagine that from a customer service perspective, that's a lot to kind of explain to someone in a way that they kind of understand,
Right.
and while they're also frustrated, you know.
I totally get that,
But
the
also,
frustration.
right, because you know everyone sees us in on social media. They
Hmm.
see, they know that we're a one woman show,
Yes.
and so everyone is going to assume that you don't. Not everyone is going to assume that you have their best interest in mind. And
Right.
so, and
Yeah.
they see, and so they're going to come to the conclusion, oh no, this person is swindling me. Oh no, my worst fear, you know, and then they jump
Right.
to conclusions. They send you an angry email or a
Yeah.
comment, and then you kind of have to deal with that. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But I mean, it's understandable. I can understand that too, especially
Hmm.
because we've been around in this community for a while, and there have been quite a few different shops who have done those less than desirable things, taken the money and run
Totally.
with it.
You know what's crazy? Here's
And
some tea for you. Early on in my, days, and I was still fresh and green and new and didn't know anything. And I was learning from like other owners, and I run into issues with like product quality or whatever that I just wasn't proud of because I want to make stuff that people like you would be proud to have and to promote and talk about, right? I
mhm,
wanted high standards. And so I had
yeah,
a product that I didn't really like, and I was like, this is not good. I can't sell. I have to like refund everyone. And then the another owner was just telling me how like, oh, who cares? It doesn't matter. That's what they pre-ordered for. That's what they're getting. And I was like, no, what the heck? Like that just doesn't align with my morals. I was like, no,
right.
thank you. That's not that's not how it goes. Like we're not doing that. So yeah, I definitely see how there's like I know there's people that have burned people and they're just like scared of me because I'm slow.
Yeah. No, and you know, not everyone's going to work at the same pace. Not
Right.
everyone's going to have the same capability to work the same amount of hours in any given day or any
Right.
given week. And so customers and people just like, I mean, I don't get compared to the next designer as in like the expectation is I'm going to put out as much work as the other designer. So
Right.
I don't think that it's necessarily fair for customers to hold you to the same standard as they hold another business as far as
Yeah.
fulfillment time. I think that
Yeah.
there should be standards in customer service, standards in
Right.
quality, and things like that. But as far as like fulfillment time, people have to understand that like
Yeah. Different.
everyone's day is different,
Right.
you
And
know?
everyone's
And
capabilities are different. So,
right, exactly.
and I think
For sure.
for like pre-orders and stuff, I've been asked before like um and this is like more of a problem early on and less like recently, but like people would ask me like how do I decide what to rerun, right? Like why is it only this? I wanted this or whatever. And early on, here's some behind the scenes. So early on, when I was doing fabric and stuff, there's so many aspects to getting a pre-order on the site. It's not as easy as you think. Like you have to make all of those listings. You have to make sure everything's connected to the shipping profile. You have to make sure you have the pictures, the logo pictures, the watermark pictures. You have to make sure the strike pictures are there, the scaling pictures are there, and then the descriptions, because I like to make sure to have like I like to list and say like what size, scale, and what material the striker
Hmm.
used, and I have to keep track of
Yeah.
that. And then make sure the prices are correct because sometimes it doesn't save right or the quantity. And all those different things can be extremely overwhelming. And so back in the day, that's why I decided to do collections. So I do things by theme to rerun. So it makes it a little bit
Hmm.
easier. And here's some, I don't know how other um, business owners do this, but for fabric, for me, I do pay for the supplier to cut and fold it for me. So
Hmm.
back in the day, my last supplier, they required me to make them these packing slips for them, which was freaking crazy. It was a huge ordeal.
Right. And wasn't it in like a very specific format and a very
Yes.
specific Excel sheet and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yes, I had to fill in like the order number, quantity, material, size, what design, and then I actually had to screenshot the picture of the fabric. So it would take me like a week or more just to like do all that before submitting. So that was crazy. That in itself was nuts.
Added to your turnaround time.
Yes, and that's also why I didn't like readily rerun so much things. And I try to keep things in collections and things that would match together, hardware and fabric. And so now I have a different supplier. They kind of help me more in the back end. So now I'm able to offer more things because they're able to do that crazy stuff for me. So then I can focus on just like figuring out what I want to run or just add on to what I already have. But it's still an undertaking because I still have to go in and like edit the title and the round number. If I want to add a new base, which is what I'm doing next pre-order, I have to go through and add it to every single listing, every single design, and then attach it to the shipping profile. So that's crazy.
So when are you going to hit your limit, do you think? Of like adding bases, adding hardware, adding prints?
I don't know.
Unless you have someone like me who's always like,
Olivia, stop.
Do less. Do less. Do less. I love you. I love everything you produce. But it's so much.
I know.
At a glance, I can see how much it is. So it's also, like there's a point where you're going to have to decide,
right?
Like, all right, this is my profile. This is my standard offering. This is what I'm going to do. And that's how I'm going to do it going forward. Do you think that you're going to find that limit, or do you think you're just going to find ways to accommodate more in the future?
I think you know the answer.
I know the answer.
So I think I thrive on chaos. And like
I do not. I do not.
I'm like also an extreme people pleaser. You know this. I can't help it. And I like always want to, meet people's crazy expectations, and I want to like make them happy. So I go above and beyond for people. So I try to like have everything that they want. So I don't think that's going to change per se. I'm going to try to, because I have been trying things lately where it's more targeted, like for example, more targeted retail or more targeted pre-order every once in a while. So it's just a smaller collection.
I would like to say that even her targeted offering, how many pieces of fabric, how many different fabrics were in the targeted offering? 60 some?
It started out as like 30, okay? It just
yes. So like I'm just the friend over here that's living in reality all the time, and I'm just like ma'am, but I mean, people love that about you. They love that you're willing to do that. Yeah. They know that that the next time that you do a live or you make a post, they can say, I really love this. Can you add it to the next pre-order? And your answer is going to be yes, almost every time. Yes. And there is a level of connection between you and the community you've created for your business that really loves that connection that you have. And so while I may shame you as your friend who's trying to protect you from working too many bajillion hours. Yes. I also understand it and I see it in the comments. I see it in the way that people talk about you, and they appreciate that. And so, but also you're important too.
Yes, I got to be better about your sanity.
Yeah.
I think it's like, and it's more than just money for me. I just really, really care about the people, and I really, really love everything that I create. So I don't know, it's important to me, I guess. And you feed off of other people's excitement too. I do. I get hyped. So I am deeply introverted. Right. I don't even like to play games with other people for the most part. Right. I'm deeply introverted. Still make you do it though. Play with me. You can't hide. But I still, I understand that, I can't be that way all the time. Right. And so I think you're the complete opposite. Although that you're not totally extroverted,
You're just a very friendly introvert. I don't know how to explain you.
Yes.
But you thrive in small, intimate groups, it seems. You know, you really like having people that you can trust in those ways, but also you really like making other people happy. You know, you treat your strikers so well every year.
Yes.
You give the best Christmas gifts.
My favorite.
You always give.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And so, you know, you really do care a lot about, you know, people that work with you and your customers. And I think that's pretty obvious from most people's perspective.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But speaking about your strike team.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So last episode with Nikki, we talked a lot about striking, a lot of the negatives, a lot of the things that, like, you know, a lot of people only see the positives because they're not part of a strike team. They don't necessarily see the negatives. And I think both sides are important to making that choice. But you heard the perspective from, or listeners heard the perspective from strikers versus a business owner and that perspective. So can you provide some perspective from your side of things where, you know, what that process is like striking, and, you know, if you find it to be sometimes frustrating or, you know, just some of your experiences having to deal with that.
Totally. I wanted to first preface that I 100% agree with everything you two talked about with striking. Because when I first came into the community, I was like, that's it. I was like, oh. And I think with my cosplay background and how I've done a lot of things for like promotion or whatever, something that I learned is that likes don't equal, is not going to pay the bills, right?
Right.
And how like exposure doesn't always equal money, right?
Right.
So for me, as I've always seen the value that strikers have been for business because they are a gift to our community for how much they do from their expertise, from their beautiful photography. People really respect their thoughts about different things, businesses, materials, et cetera, and these are things they don't have to share to people, and I don't, you know, but of course they do because that's part of the striking. And a lot of these information is considered trade secret, but they still share it. And they also inspire others, and they also teach others how to use this material and also the design, right? Yeah. Like, because I'll have like some wonky
They're not gatekeeping.
Right. I'll have like a wonky design. Then I've had a situation where I had an artwork that I really liked. And one of my friends were like, I don't like it. It's ugly. And I was like, oh, what the heck? But I loved it. I believed in it. And then one of the strikers was like, I effing love this design. And I'm like, really? And she made the most beautiful bag. And it ended up being the best seller for that round. And it actually made the people that didn't like it, that originally was like, yeah, I didn't like it. They're like, I actually love the print now. So that is the power of a striker. And I've always felt like they weren't compensated enough. And so I think early on, the norm was like discount was like 15, 20%. And from the get-go, I'm like, I ain't doing that. We're going to start off 20. I don't care. And even then, I thought that wasn't enough. So for me, when I pick my strikers, it's important that they're not just my strikers. They mean more to me than that. They're my friends, people I trust their opinions on, and they push me, that they have high standards. Like you have super high standards. And I'm like, what can
I'm probably your most picky striker.
Yes, but I know that if I stay with your standard, it's going to be freaking amazing. So that's invaluable. You're never going to get that for free in the world. That's crazy. Like any business pay for that. So I try to do things like to show that I care and about my team. I'm so fucking lucky. They're amazing to me. They like give me all the things. They like give me all the clothing, all the fun things, and I absolutely love them. And so I hope they know that they mean more to me than just a striker. And you know,
and you're very generous with them too. I mean, like, I probably suffer a little bit from nepotism when it comes to you, as far as, you do tend to spoil me slightly, and I will tell her I just need 1 or 2 rolls, Olivia, not even. You can send me a scrap. It's okay. That doesn't happen.
No.
That never happens. It's okay.
Yeah.
But you're very generous with your your striker, and I think we're all appreciative of it.
Yeah, I love to spoil my strikers. I want to give them more than what is normal. So even now, the discount is up to 30%, just as the starting point. And then obviously, if you do more for the team, like Tiffany, who does the scheduling and making sure everyone's doing their thing, et cetera, she gets 40, just to be transparent. And I'm probably going to bump everyone up probably to that next year as well, because I like to just increase it, because I don't want to make money off of them. I'm not here for that. They provide me with something like way more valuable than I could ever give back to them. And of course, Xmas gifts, gift cards, snacks, etc. Although I have to say I'm really bad, and I feel really bad because this year I have really failed that. I haven't been able to do as much as I would like to this year because of all the craziness that has happened this year, especially with the vet bills with my pets and stuff like that. But I'm hoping to get back into it next year. But I still have Christmas stuff coming, so at least there's that.
Yes.
So I would say my second biggest expense. So my biggest expense is artwork. My second biggest expense for my business is my team. And I think that's really important. Because again, like, it's more than just money to me. These are people. So yeah, and I hope they feel the love that I have for them. But
I think they do. Yeah. I really do. I think they do. I can't imagine anyone on your team who doesn't feel appreciated in any capacity, even when it, not just when it comes to getting, the extra things like the gifts and all those things that none of us ask for and we're so grateful for. But, also, just how, flexible you are and understanding, that alone it adds a lot of value, to being a part of your team.
Right.
And not every strike team is that way. I haven't been a part of a lot of strike teams.
Yeah.
I've been a part of yours, Backstitch, and then a couple others I think I've done some guest striking on.
Right.
But it really varies team to team. And so I will say that, I'm on one strike team nowadays. And I strike every so. I keep trying to get you to fire me.
You can't leave. You're stuck forever. Sorry.
I know. So if anyone is looking for an example of a good striker, I'm not it.
Oh, whatever. Stop. It is. Oh my God. She gives the best advice. Okay. Sometimes it might hurt my feelings, but that's okay. I want it. Give it to me.
I'm a good part of the behind the scenes thing when it comes to quality assurance. You want to send me something? Believe me, you're going to get a 5-minute video on what's wrong with it.
Get that reaming, man.
It is what it is, because I know that you would rather hear it from me and you'd rather make a better product than hear that from a customer 100%. Who's waited 3 months for it.
100%. And I value that.
Yeah. And so I tell you all the time, like, yes men serve nobody. So in our world, they're mostly yes women, but gender neutral here. Yes person. We don't need yes people in our circles here. Right. That's something that's a big no-no for me in my testing group. I don't want you to tell something to make me happy. It's my job to receive and process things in a professional manner. It's not your job to filter it, in that way. Like, sure, I don't necessarily want you to be like, Shannon, this is a piece of shit. But if that's what it needs, then please tell me. That'll get the point across, That, like, a couple months ago, you released purse feet. Yes. And they were so fun. I say a couple months ago. That was like...
Was it?
It was 6 months ago. I mean, it was in the summer.
Well, it's this year. Well, sometime. Yeah.
People have learned so far, time means nothing to me. I have no idea. I'll say last week for something that happened 2 months ago for a long time.
I feel like it's been actually pretty recent, so you're not wrong. Yeah.
It was definitely around the time of the Adina releasing, which was in July.
Oh, yeah, it was for your bag, huh? Damn.
So it was in the summer.
Yeah.
But you know, they were really cool. They're these like cat feet that act as purse feet,
3D
and they're
paws.
fully three-dimensional, and they're like really fun.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, I told you before they got here, I was like, when it comes to screwing purse feet, I'm a real stickler.
Yep.
Because the screw length needs to be long enough to go through the stabilizer, and we got it here. And the second that it didn't work, I immediately set up the phone, recorded my video, and was like, "This is why it doesn't work. I have these screws from a different piece of hardware.
Yep,
they work.
Yes,
get these."
I ordered
get the calipers out.
Yup, I ordered brand new screws, everything, the whole yards.
Because she already had those. She already had, custom screws for the thing. And I was like, I'm sorry, they don't work.
Like, nope, sorry, girl. Like, damn.
It is what it, but that's the thing about you and receiving the feedback that I appreciate so much, and why I'm still on your team. Aww. Is because I can be honest with you, and I can tell you, but not only that, you receive the feedback well, right? You do what I do first, which is panic. Oh shit, fix the problem.
Yeah.
All right. In that order. and then, but you trust in what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like you don't, this was part of like the whole testing thing we were talking about last episode. You don't trust in me to give you feedback and then ignore my feedback. Like,
right.
Yes, you can process it, you can filter it, you can see what hits your standards that doesn't hit mine and decide that your standards are more important in that situation. Obviously, it's your business. You do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the same time, respecting your team's feedback is imperative, in my opinion. Or else, why am I here?
Right.
Why am I here?
Well, I trust you guys. You're the expert. I don't know. Right?
I mean, you have made 2 bags.
I know. I have. They're amazing bags. We don't want to talk about how I sewed the pockets down so it doesn't open. We're not going to go there.
Would you top stitch next to the zipper?
I don't want to talk about it. I zipped it open. I was like, oh, it doesn't open.
Well, it looks great from the outside.
That's what
nobody
matters.
needs to know.
Right.
But, oh my gosh.
But yeah, we discussed like that type of stuff for striking, but there's also a lot of bad stuff that comes with running. It's not always like hearts and friendship. It is hearts and friendship for me, but there's also a lot of negative stuff that like stressors with, and I think that's what you wanted me to talk about, right? Like a little bit of the other side.
Kind of like a little bit of both sides of it, right?
Right.
You know, I know I think what I've witnessed is the biggest thing is, you know, maybe not necessarily using the materials that showcase your materials. That's what they're promoting. That's what they got the materials for, you know, like I love to put custom fabric on the inside of a bag, but if I'm promoting that fabric, it doesn't necessarily belong on the inside of the bag.
Right.
Or like not hitting the timeline the way you're supposed to. Hello, me always bringing up the rear. It's fine. We love that.
Hey, I'm okay. I'm pretty chill about that stuff, and you know that. Like as long as it gets done, I'm like. It's definitely very stressful to juggle so many personalities. I love every one of them, but it's every person I gotta tailor a different way of like interacting with them. The struggle of like schedules and teams, and then dealing with drama stuff that sometimes happens. I'm very lucky that I don't really experience too much drama. I'm very, very lucky in that. But you know, in the early days.
I was gonna say nowadays.
Early days, it was kind of rough. You know?
So you know, in the past few episodes, we talk about there was a huge boom in our sewing world. A lot of people came to our community just like you did, right?
Right.
Pandemic hit, sewed masks. What do I do with this fabric? And then, or I want more fabric, and then you're exposed to all this stuff. You jump right in. Everyone falls down that rabbit hole, and they're here to stay for the most part. But some people climb their way out of it. So, but a lot of people kind of came to it the same way you did, or similarly, where they're like, I love this, but but I want these things to exist. They don't exist yet. And so I'm going to make them, but then other people can buy them too. And so there was a lot of competition. It was kind of a volatile time, 2020, 2021, even into 2022, between a lot of shop owners. A lot of shops popped up and a lot of shops went away in that time.
Yeah.
And so around that time, though, like when you first came in, you started doing a ton of collabs. You collabed with other businesses, with your friends. You and I did a collab.
Yeah.
And when we say collab, it just means where two businesses are working together to essentially release a single product that they both benefit from.
Right.
And so that's something that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about too, was, your experiences doing those collabs. And like many of us, we kind of have that journey of like, oh, this is fun. It's not very fun. Let's limit how many of those that we do.
Right. Yes. So for collabs, that was actually something I think in the early days was not the norm. When I first came onto the scene, everyone, I think some businesses are still like this, but you're not allowed to tag other businesses. You're not allowed to talk about that within their own space.
There's a few businesses that still do it and did it before, but they weren't that many, no.
Yes. So for me, coming from with my cosplay background, that was part of like the norm. We collaborated a lot, and that concept I brought with me because we not only collaborated, but we like networked and really promoted each other because we believed in the concept of like, if I succeed, I'm going to bring you with me.
Nico said that, a rising tide raises all ships,
Right. So I definitely believe there's enough space for everybody in this community. I'm sure as heck not going to be able to, provide for everyone. Right. So I don't mind sharing and promoting someone that can fill that space that I am unable to fill, especially since I'm slow as heck and I'm never open. So I'm like, please come join my friends group instead. Right. You can find this cool thing. And so I really did, I wanted to do collabs because I thought it would be really fun and this is something related to something you said in one of your last podcasts about how like in the beginning you wanted this big old bubble and then after a while the
small bubble big bubble.
Yeah. So in the beginning I was green. I was a little dumb. a little like fresh and kind of like I want to be friends with everyone. Everyone is so nice and they want to be my friend, right? They want the best for me, right? And so I learned a lot. Don't get me wrong, there's good times and then there was bad times, but collaboration didn't always end up being like worth it, right?
Yeah.
And there are going to be people that will use you, take advantage of you, especially early on when I had, I was just this naive, wear my heart on my sleeve type of person, and I got taken advantage of, and it was terrible. I could give you an example. No names, and I don't want anybody to go looking for trouble, okay? Because I've moved on from it. I don't believe in messing with anyone's like business and real life. I definitely
these real experiences happened, and like Lauren said, it does nobody any service to just sweep it under the rug,
Right?
Like it matters. It mattered.
It does,
and it's okay to talk about it.
Right?
We don't have to name names so that we don't have to drag anyone under the mud right now, years after it happened.
Yeah,
but it's okay to acknowledge it.
Yes, but I also believe in karma. Like you don't have to do all those things. I feel like with being true to yourself and with action and consistency, people can see that like just whatever drama, canceling, whatever things that happen, they'll see that it was not true and that you're you, right? So, but in the beginning, I remember one of my first collabs. I was like so bright-eyed and stupid because she wanted to like, oh, this is going to be so huge for you. It's going to be like I'm going to promote your business or whatever. And I was really excited. So I've never really done that type of collab before. So I sold her zipper pulls at like almost cost. I made nothing off of it basically. to be put in her box because I was just really excited and I wanted to be her friend so bad. So I'm like, please, like Senpai noticed me, please be my friend, right? So she, I don't know what happened, but I guess she felt some type of way about me, and I don't know. I still to this day I have no clue. I, but she, first of all, when it was time to sell the box, right? She posted at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, hey, that's kind of weird. Like, of course you're not going to sell boxes if you're going to sell it at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And she tried to like gaslight me, trying to tell me that like that's the perfect time to post. Like that, I guess my best engagement. I'm sorry, I came from cosplay and I deal with media and posting and all kinds of stuff. That is not a good time to post. So I was like, there's no way. And then like later, I my polls that I was. So I was like, that's not cool. And then I know she found that she wanted to sell the zipper pulls so she was making more off, used me of like different things and whatnot, and was talking smack behind my back.
So sorry to interrupt the episode, but the audio while recording kind of just had a big hiccup there and mashed together a couple sentences. But essentially what she was saying is that this other owner she was working with sold the excess zipper pulls that she had. She sold them at a higher price, so she was making more of a profit than Olivia did. And then she proceeded to kind of go and start talking about her and accusing her of some things. And then she continued on with the conversation. So I just wanted to make sure that what she said was clarified because it didn't really make sense as it was recorded, but there really wasn't a way to edit it to tell you that other than what I'm doing right now, because it essentially cut a whole section out of the audio. So it sounded like two sentences were mashed together into one, where the heart of the context was essentially removed. So again, sorry for that, but hopefully that clarifies it if you were confused.
She doesn't know that I know, but I mean, I found out. So that was really disheartening and really hurtful.
There is what a lot of customers don't know.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of us business owners talk to each other.
We do.
A lot of us are friends with one another.
Yeah.
And a lot of us used to be friends with one another.
Yeah.
Maybe not now, but
Yeah.
like obviously things happen behind the scenes. There's a community that is kind of the public community, and then
Right.
there's a bit of a different community that's set aside a little bit, and that's the owners. Obviously, we talk to one another. We convene. A couple weeks ago, somebody charged back a bunch of our businesses. All of us kind of got to have those conversations with one another to understand what happened. So it's a beneficial community. At the same time, there's a rumor mill that happens too, and there's gossip that happens, all that stuff. I mean, that's in any community. That's not special to ours, but it absolutely happens. And so, remember, people, these things will come back.
Yes.
Okay, so just be mindful of who you're talking to and about, because it will come back.
Exactly.
In some way, shape, or form.
And I forgive, but I don't forget. That type of thing. And I don't want to mess with people or anything or stoop to that level, but I just don't want to be a friend no more. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I believe in karma too. So it's like, I know one day eventually it'll catch up to them if they're that kind of like lame. So yeah.
But like this whole being taken advantage of as a upcoming business, as a new business, is something that I experienced as well. And in 2023, I got taken advantage of multiple times, one of which was during a collab with a couple big names in our community. And
they dangled that big name like a carrot to you, I felt like.
They did. Yeah. It was pretty bad. And then they backed out of our collab 2 weeks before it released, and they found somebody else and made it work. And nobody really knows about it. And, I'm not out here to put everybody on blast. But so it's Nigu talked about this, essentially staying in our own lane.
Yes.
And I feel like I do that too. I tried to do some collabs. Your and I collab was not bad at all, but we also had trust in one another.
Yes.
And everyone was so for those that don't know, when the Aries released, Olivia and I had a collab through Alchemats where the pattern was released through the box early, and it was a Star Wars based Star Wars Nouveau.
Yes.
Right? Is that how we pronounce that?
I think it's Nouveau, yes.
And it was fun. Everyone loved that box. It was a limited release, and so it just allowed people to have access to the pattern a couple weeks early. And then, you know, it was an easy, I say easy, but all I did was provide you a kind of exclusivity for a couple weeks, but you did all the work. And that was the case for some of the other collabs, you know, where you had to take on way. It's like working on a group project in school. Yeah. Right?
And you're the only one that did
no
work.
One's.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yes. And so ours worked out. It was a smaller stocking. And it wasn't like you had to coordinate a bunch of physical products to one location. But in other past collaborations, you had to order X amount of things, get them to somebody else, or wait on somebody else's collaboration items to arrive to you. And either you needed to package them or they needed to package them, or you split them separately, but then fulfillment went separately. And so that's a lot to juggle. And I don't know about you, but like group projects was one of my least favorite things to do. Also, as a very, very extreme introvert, it was not something I would ever enjoy. But it's fun for customers because you get to sample businesses. You get to, it's just like
discount.
It's a curated box.
Right.
Some of them,
Collectible.
sometimes it's not a discount when you purchase the whole project box. It's just a curated, limited offering.
Right.
And that's okay too. I don't mind that.
We didn't do that. We didn't do the discount because we thought that was lame. So we wanted to compensate each other fairly, which I really appreciated.
You and me?
Yeah. We try to do it different because of what we experienced in like past collabs. And don't get me wrong, I've had some great experiences, but it's a lot of freaking work, you know?
Yeah.
And people have they're all on different times. Like you were mentioning, material comes in at different times. There are situations where like, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be totally different because she's my good buddy. Yeah. And then it's like, then it just went to shit. Like we still got it out, but not in the timeline that you're hoping for. Because manufacturing time happens, delays happens, flaws happens. And then sometimes I had one situation where I had a particular hardware product for a year. For a year before we got the box out. I was like, what? We're ready to flip a table because I'm like, I can't sell this hardware and I can't sell this fabric. And it's like a total sunk cost. I love my friends. I love them forever. But that was really, you know what I mean? That was really hard from a business standpoint because sometimes, you know, people in this community, for me, this is my everything. This is my main income. This is my job. And not everyone, it's not always that way for them. It could be a hobby. It could be their side gig. It could be whatever. It could be different. So that all contributes to the collab. So people are going to have different like degrees of
urgency.
Yes, for the thing. Sometimes it won't affect them, but it definitely affects me a lot because it's a sunk cost. Right. So that's why I just stick my head down and just do my thing now.
Yep. Yeah. I was the same way. After I got out, essentially, and we talked about this with Lauren, you know, now I have to really, really trust a person.
Yes.
You know, to even engage with that idea, or I need to be benefiting more than I honestly need to be taking more than I'm giving. As horrible as that sounds, and as much as I'm not someone who advocates for that on a normal basis, I think I value my time now. I value how I'm going to feel in the future about something like that.
Well, your work should be compensated, you know? I think it's very important because your time is valuable and it should be mutually beneficial. It should not be all like one-sided.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, collabs essentially a thing of the past for you?
I don't know. You never know. I don't like to say never because you never know, but if the right collaborator that has the same work ethic as me, speed and kind of aligns with me like morally as like or and just all different types of things, then it'll be worth it for me. But also, most importantly, if they help me process it. I don't want to
Which is
all of that for
but
myself.
that's like essentially impossible.
Yeah,
you know,
I do live out in the middle of nowhere, so
yeah, and on a coast, right? You're in
right.
California,
Yes.
so it's like me. Even getting out of Texas already takes a couple hours,
right?
And so it's not like it's an easy trek for anyone.
Yeah,
and it's tough, but
totally.
I think that's fair. And collabs, they're fun,
yeah,
but they are a bit of
a lot of work,
a naive person's sort of job.
Yeah, that's me.
After a while you get jaded, and then you're like, okay, no mas, thank you. But you have had your fun.
I did,
and people love their boxes. I have my boxes displayed.
Yeah, I have it too. Yes. Made some good friends through it, so that's fine. That's the goal. So yeah.
So, a lot of people love, you talked earlier about, you are so detail oriented when it comes to kind of expressing your love of these fandoms. You deep dive, every little inch of fabric has a tie back to it. And then you also take that and you have it reviewed by friends as well. I've had vetoing power on some things, some designs where I'm like, okay. But again, I appreciate that. But so when it comes to how extensively you kind of design and quality check and all that stuff with your fabrics,
right?
How is that working with artists? Artists, you said, is this one that's your highest,
biggest expense,
biggest
that's
expense,
right?
So I have to imagine that when something is such a big expense for you, you're way more adamant about getting exactly what you want as much as you can.
Yeah, for sure. So artwork, as an artist myself, I've been put in a really privileged position where I can support artists for my business, and I'm very proud of that. No AI, it's hand drawn, all of that stuff. And I think with my cosplay background too, I was really into like marketing and branding and stuff like that. So and then also taught me to be more detail oriented about all the details for when it comes to fandom stuff, because you know what? Fans are hypercritical. They're hard to please, and they will block it right away when it's not accurate. They can tell you don't know the stuff, they don't know the content, and I think my designs, you can really feel the passion and like the care that we take. For me, artists, I like to get to know an artist. I like to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then I tailor what I want designed to what their strengths are. Like if I have this idea, this one would be perfect and this one would be perfect. I also work with a lot of different artists, and one being my good friend Gladsy K, cosplay. She's a Canadian artist. She's one of my most expensive artists.
But she's so good. She's so good. And she's
worth
sweet.
It. She's the best. I love her so much. And it's actually the easiest to work with her because she's an industry artist. So she has experience with that, working with clients. So she doesn't get offended because I am very difficult to work with because I'm such a perfectionist and I want certain things a certain way. And so she totally does not take it personal and she'll do it. I've had artists where they were just straight up like, nope, I'm out, because it was just too much. And yeah. So I work with and I pay a lot for artists that will put up with my shit, because it's like.
So would you be willing to share on average what a design costs you?
It really depends. So I'll be transparent. So for example, Glassy, because she's one of my more expensive ones, it could be thousands of dollars for a collection.
For one print. And when with that print, you get kind of the individual pieces of it too.
I don't get that with her. No. It is one solid piece.
Select one. So you have like the so the one that a lot of people know of. They might not know that it's done by her, but you'll know if you've been following Alchemats, is your Lord of the Rings maps, and then with the scenes, and it's a like muted, pastel-y, I don't really, lots of mauves and teals and muted blues, you know, like on that cream background. So and I remember when that art was being done, I am privy to seeing the in process artwork screenshots too, which is really fun. So I always get to know what's coming. Olivia is so quick to be like, look at it.
It's cool, right? Tell me it's cool.
Yes. Tell me she doesn't ask for me to tell her what's wrong, but I'm like, oh, what about that? What about that? What about this? But
I still fix it when you tell me things. I'm like,
but look, Gladzy, she did such great work, and you know, so for that one, you got the map, and then you got
the border print.
The border around it, the scenes, essentially.
Yes, the scenes.
And that was it. So the scenes and the map.
So we kind of work backwards. I try to envision what I want in a bag and a clothing, and then we design it that way. So that's how the border print was created. It was meant for cutting out for a bag panel or even on a really cool shirt and a dress. And then, so that's kind of our process with that particular art design creation. And for me, like, I don't want to I want custom things that are unique and interesting to my shop because I'm so slow. I can't keep up with the non-inspired and inspired stuff. I still get them from artists in our community because I like the stuff, but I will never be able to keep up with like other people in the community. And I'm okay with that. So I focus on what I'm good at. And so for me, these art designs, I want it to be more than just a regular design. Nothing wrong with regular designs. I love them. I still get them. I sometimes even prefer them more. But for me, if I'm going to invest all that freaking money into this design, I want it to tell a story. I want it to be an art piece that you can just hang on your wall and wear on your body. And it's like, again, this is made by nerds for nerds. She rewatched Lord of the Rings. I rewatched Lord of the Rings while we were creating this so that we could have, because I sketched out the concept with like the areas that I wanted and the scenes that I wanted. But then after the rewatch, we went back and like added more. Yeah.
And even Gladzy, I have that print. I bought one of the signed prints from her. She gave me a little note in my little package. And I think she even has one of my totes.
She does.
That I made with it. So.
She was like, who made that bag? And I was like, let me get you the link. let me show you.
So I think it's great. And, you know, I think people can really tell the difference, you know.
Right.
It's easy to take a couple small images and arrange it on I would say, I don't want to say it's easy. It's probably easier for some. I don't know. I've never made a seamless file.
Right.
But it's probably a lot more work to make such intricate pieces of art and then turn that into fabric, which is what your artists are doing. And I think you can see the expense there. I also think that people are going to be a little shocked by the cost of the fabric, and that's why when Olivia gets hyperfixated, I'm like, you don't need fabric. So we love it. We can love it.
We can love it from
afar.
She told me no. That's her fault.
So for everyone else that's mad, I also told her no about Frankenstein.
Guys, I might do it. I still might do it. I don't know yet.
Yeah, she doesn't always listen to me. Sometimes she does. As long as you're not spending like $1,000 on it, go for it.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll think about it. But you know, I do have a couple of designs that aren't that expensive too. Like I said, I have different artists, so there's different level of investment in certain art pieces, right? So I have some artists that allows me to they'll give me each individual item, so then I can use it to make stickers and stuff like that. So stickers is another thing that I learned from my cosplay that like translated into my business, because I really want to play around with the concept of my what do you call it? The alchemy circle.
You do such a good job. And so they won't be able to see it at this point in the video if you're watching the video. but if you're watching the intro and outro, you'll see that over here alongside my closet door is your earlier little keychains from your various things. I know. You stopped doing them at some point, but
keychains are expensive.
I want the I know. I love them, and so I like to hang them up in this way. I think it'd be cool to make yourself a little chandelier out of them. That could be fun.
I'm gonna have to do that. Yes.
But like you do so well with your branding. I have so many Alchemat stickers on my machines. Because you'll take a bit of that clip art from that fabric or that round, and you'll plop it on the sticker, and then people get that. And I think that it's so fun, and I know that people love them and request them on a regular basis.
Yeah, I actually I came out the front door doing that immediately because I learned that in the cosplay community. I did because early on, I learned I don't use business cards. People throw away business cards, but you know what people love? Bitches love stickers. I'm bitches, and I'm like I'm all about them stickers. And it's funny because early on too, I had friends that were telling me, no, people are not going to want that with your logo on it. Like, take out the logo, just do the sticker or whatever. And I'm like, no, branding. I really believe in this. This could be collectible and fun because I love collecting. And I love representing my favorite brands. So that's how, and I kept going with it. And you're right. Yes, there are people that have told me, like, I don't even want to order from this pre-order, but I did because I want that damn sticker. Or they'll put in their, like, in the order comments, in their order, they're like, please, I want this one and this one and this one. I'm like, okay, got you. I got you.
I have been there before where I'm like, look, you didn't send me this sticker before.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I need to add to my collection. For sure. Like I said, I can point 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 4 just on my 2 industrial.
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There's so many
10.
stickers. There's so many.
10. 10 within sight. Sight.
I put it on everything too. So yeah.
Put the shit on everything.
Yeah. Put a sticker on it.
Yeah. But so when you work with these artists, you get this art, you release this art, people love this art, and then you get the questions that are like, who's this artist? Who's this supplier? All those things. And so that has to be frustrating for you because this is the core of your business, is having this artwork based on these fandoms that you love, that you spent all this money, all this time, all this investment in. At the same time, you're not available all the time because of the pre-order, the retail, fulfillment, all that stuff. So how do you handle it when people ask you questions about like supplier information and artist stuff when obviously, as much as we don't want to gatekeep, we need to protect our business as well.
Totally.
And so you have to kind of, toe that line a bit and not be mean, but at the same time protect. So how do you manage that?
So unfortunately, I have to be the bad guy sometimes, and it feels really bad. It feels really bad because sometimes the supply, like I usually don't care if it's like, for example, my friend Glazzy, I don't care. She takes commissions. Please hire her. It's amazing. But there are, people that have privy giving me information for suppliers and or artists, and I have to respect them because they don't want me to share it. And that's 100% okay. It's a trade secret. It's considered trade secret. It's no different than like KFC and their special ingredients for their fried chicken batter, right? These are all ingredients that we all know, but we don't know exactly what's in it and how many, right? So it's the same thing. When people are asking about these things, it's very uncomfortable. You put me in a weird spot. And I don't know how other people handle it because I don't know. Like, I don't think other group owners really like mention it. I don't know. I don't really pay attention. I don't know. My FYP is just cats and like heated rivalry. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Next month will be something completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get you into Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then Fabric will be made, and I will allow you to run Dungeon Crawler Carl Fabric.
Okay.
When that happens, I'm telling you, I don't know if you'll. Okay, there will eventually be a show for it. For those that don't know, Dungeon Crawler Carl, please be aware.
Go watch it.
It's not a show. It won't be a show for a couple years. He just sold the rights to it. It's a book series. But if you are not a fan of anything remotely vulgar or anything explicit,
that. Uh-huh.
please don't read this series, because then you'll come at me and be like, why is there an Uzi Jesus? And I'm like, I got nothing for you.
But is there spice? The important question.
There's no spice. There's so much fun. There's so much fun. There's a talking cat. There's a talking cat named Princess Donut.
Okay, you got me with the Princess Donut cat.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgot where I was even going with this, but
artwork.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Oh, you're talking about your FYP.
Oh.
Eventually it will become Dungeon Crawler Crawl stuff, because I'm going to force you to do that. Alex and I we're waiting out. We're just playing the long game here. We're waiting for it, okay? Totally. Alex is more obsessed than I am. It's fine. Yeah. But that has to be tough. It has to be tough managing that. And
it's super
again,
tough.
We probably don't even see half of that, because most people ask privately. And if they don't, I'm sure a lot of other groups manage it and delete the comments essentially right away.
Yeah, sometimes I leave it. I don't know. I think it's okay for people to express, their curiosities, and I think that's fine. But I also don't have to share if I don't want to. And that's what I tell my strikers too, for, their trade secrets as well. I respect their thoughts on that as well. So, yeah. But
yeah, when it comes to patterns and stuff like that, you can, I think that's something that comes up every once in a while in our community, is that, if somebody posts a bag in a generic sewing group, right? Something where it's not specific to one designer it's, people will ask, what's that pattern? It's like the whole seagulls from Finding Nemo. Mine. Right. Pattern. Source. And it's, I think it's on the OP, the original poster, to respond to that. It's the author's choice to respond. It is tough though, because then people take that option away from you. People will pipe in and answer the question on behalf of the original poster, and they will, and that's really tough. And I think that, when it comes, it's kind of the same vibe when it comes to people asking for supplier information,
Yeah.
If you want to provide that and you want to put that out there and you want to have that resource available for people, then you can do that. But if you don't want to do that, then obviously you haven't already. So, just kind of maybe respect that and do your own research,
Right. And if I can share, I will put it on my website, it's in the listing for the artworks, if I can share it. And it's one of those things. It's hard because we're not trying to be in butthole, but we spend a lot of money that you do not know about behind the scenes, like thousands, hundreds of dollars testing out stuff, testing out artists and testing out whatever, because, everyone's work relationship is different. And then also what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. Right. But there's designs and artwork that I spent hella money on, and it is not going to see the light of day. It did not turn out good. Or I had to completely scrap complete designs and product because I was like, this is not good. This doesn't meet my expectations, or this supplier is not good. I need to change and switch. Right? Because I switched a couple of fabric suppliers and people didn't know, right? But so I, looking back, I would not want to recommend any of those suppliers. And I'd feel really bad if you had a bad experience, and then that's on me, right?
Right.
So I don't want that. So that's where I'm at with supplier stuff.
No, that's fair. But, alongside the, supplier and the artist stuff, you also have things that come into play because, obviously we live in a world where pop culture is a norm. It is a big part of everyone's day. Our generation absolutely thrives in fandom.
Yes.
Across all fronts, sports team, anything. And so authors, books, all of it. We're all fandoms of something.
Right.
And so, but with pop culture comes trends, and with those trends come, fads, and pop culture is going to seize on that, and so as a result, so do you. As far as if you want to be, that's what people want right now. That's what's popular. Yes. That's what's hot. You want to you should be selling products related to that.
Right.
And so you're in this community where, you know, it ends up being, you know, we touched on competitive a little bit with Nico's episode, but I have to imagine that's tough too, you know, when you are running some of the same art that purchased from some artist that released X amount of their seamless files for X amount of shops to use.
Yes.
And then, you know, it's also you're going to produce something very similar because there's only so many images from any specific fandom to use.
And stock art. Hello.
And stock art, you know. So I imagine that has to be tough too. And there's like, I'm sure you've had to deal with accusations of copying or having your work copied too, having your molds stolen, I believe, remember happened once, like things like that.
Yes. So I've been on both sides of the coin, being, you know, copied and also accused of copying. So I want to preface, this is all stuff that we all like the same things. There's only so much that we can do. However, I do agree that we should make things different from each other. That's the whole thing with art. It's very subjective. It's also like everyone has already done something in the past at one point, so nothing special. But however, try to make it different for yourself, right? And in my I don't have this problem nowadays. It just happened more so in my early days when I had the bigger bubble. But definitely people would get really, we had this like unsaid, or not unsaid, we did talk about it. We had this agreement where like, you'll do this and then I'll do that and blah, 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 right? And so that we didn't step on each other's toes and we totally.
So it was a group of business owners that had this kind of agreement that.
Yeah.
Or
because we didn't want
it wasn't
to
just
step
like
on
an
toes.
unspoken thing across the board. It was, you were actually speaking with other owners.
Yeah. And I didn't mind that because of course I don't want to step on your toes and I want you to succeed. And I do agree, I think, but we also agreed that of course there's only so many stock images, logos, whatever the heck, right? But as long as you make it different, then that's fine, right? But that didn't always necessarily worked out, you know, because people are going to feel different ways and feel like, you know, enroached and stuff like that. So copying is really like, it's hard because especially in this community, we're like perpetually online, like all the time. And like we interact with everybody. So everyone's going to like talk stuff and accuse people. And that's really hard. And I think with my, you know, with my past in like media and being like a online person / I wouldn't say was an influencer, but definitely like someone in the public eye. I had more experience to at least help me mentally to handle some of the weird accusations, especially since like a lot of times I like I said, my FYP is cats and right now heated rivalry. Okay. I don't know what you're doing with your shop and I'm not looking at you. Right. But I definitely have, you know, been accused of things in the past. And I think, again, with me consistently keep doing my thing and keeping my head down, that accusation has like, that doesn't happen anymore. And I think, if you just be consistent. And I think the most important thing, keep receipts. Keep all the receipts, pictures, sketches, all those things. And I also try to be mindful of what I say to people because unfortunately people love to screenshot. So I'm used to that in the cosplay world because people would do that. So I'm very careful how I handle these type of things. And I can even talk about like a little bit of behind the scenes for some of the artwork because again, people were accusing me of stealing, and I can give you a couple examples. For example, this was early on, by the way, one of my first designs. I created this cute thing. It was stock art at the time. Now all my stuff is way more custom. So because I don't want anybody to accuse me of nothing. So everything's super, you know, custom now. But before I was like, I just like this little design. And someone accused me because they had something similar. And I had no idea that her creation was something that she created before I even joined the community. I didn't know, and it wasn't in her shop. And then I didn't respond in a good way when she contacted me about it because it was like 2 a.m. And I was like, maybe I'll just tell her better in the morning and apologize or whatever. And then I woke up to like people telling me, Olivia, you need to leave that group. Like, she's just raising. And like her whole team was like accusing me of stuff and hating me and saying I was a terrible person, a terrible owner. And I was just like, hold on a second. I need you to take a step back. Just take a step back. Like, what the heck? So, I, of course, contacted her and was like, I was totally not on purpose. Like, I swear to you, I showed her my mold. I showed her like timelines. And then she was like totally cool about it, but I knew she was not cool about it. And so, but I like to take this negative energy and like this, my sad girl energy, and like, I take that and I become productive.
Yeah. Allow it to fuel you is like always the best kind of like comeback. You know,
Right.
it's like, yeah, it's a little bit of payback, but in the best way.
Right.
You know, absolutely.
I say I'm fueled by the haterade while I drink the bubble tea. You know? And so I think I took down the design because I was like, I feel really bad about it. And I was like, I'll just sell whatever I have left over. Transparent wise, I still have some of that shit left. It's so annoying. I look at it and I get so mad when I look at it. But I took it down, redesigned it, and bought a whole brand new mold with like filigree, and I added all the cool stuff on it. And then it actually fueled me to create fabric design to match it because I was so inspired to prove that I wasn't trying to steal and that I genuinely want to create cool stuff. And then so I wanted to build something off of that to turn that negativity around. So I sketched out the design, everything I wanted. I hired an artist, made it happen. And actually, fun fact, you actually made a bag with that material. Don't go looking for it. People do not go looking for it. Okay. But you made that bag and it was actually one of your first patterns. So it actually meant a lot to me, this particular design. I don't know if you know it or remember.
I know. It was a Mayfield.
Yes. So yeah,
I know. And I remember I used cork with it and I was so frustrated. And you're like, no, it's great. I love it. And it was a tester. It wasn't even a final bag. It was a prototype.
You changed a lot of it at the end. Yeah.
That was a very early prototype.
Yup. So that was that. There was other
Throw it away.
Instances. Right.
Throw it away.
No, I love it. I still have it. It's displayed, okay? I have it displayed, I swear. But yes, anyway, that was not my first experience. I've had other experiences too. But like I was saying earlier, receipts are very important, right? And I think, and I don't get to share this often enough, but like, especially for fabric prints and stuff like that, I put a lot into it, into the design and thoughts process from it, because I'm a freaking nerd and I obsess. But I also really love art history, and I love different eras of art and different art types and design. And I really found my comfort in some of my designs from combining my love for that and fandoms and putting it together. And so I have sketches and weird stuff, which I would love to share if you want to see some of it. Like the behind the scenes, because I'm crazy. Like my artists, I send them like a spreadsheet of like characters I want, inspo pictures.
Stick figure form sometimes.
Stick figures. That's the best part. And then they actually told me it helps. So yay. And if they don't know the content, I will do the research for them. And I have like references, images, and whatnot. And if I can't explain it, I'll show them the picture. And I do think this helps with, you know, getting rid of and proving to people that you're not copying. You know what I mean? Right. When you put this much into my stuff. And I think a lot of it, it's really personal, deeply, deeply personal for me, because this is stuff that I love, that I'm like extremely passionate about. And also a lot of these designs, like people ask me, where did I come up with these things? It's 100% selfish. This is all stuff that I want for myself, because I can't find it. And I'm secretly sitting there hoping and praying that one of the strikers will take pity on me and maybe give me some of the clothing or bags, or if I could buy some. So,
the amount
now you know
of striker made bags. There was one year where I was like, Olivia,
you stop.
You need to rein it in, my dear.
I have a whole wall Awesome. So I pulled up I saved this because I wanted to share some of the behind the scenes of how some of the things came to be because
Mm-hmm.
some of them are cool and some of them are ridiculous, but I really wanted to show to prove that these things definitely are custom and it's like my brainchild. And it's a collaboration with artists. Sometimes they put their input on it, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want your input.
Just do what
But
I say.
just do this cool thing. Thank you. But I very much value their expertise too, because they know more
Right.
about color theory, like you,
Right.
than me. I don't know. So the first one I want to show that I pulled up, this is one of my more recent designs. It's like a damask style with like this is my doodle, damask style with like cats and like a bird or whatever. It looks ridiculous. But you know what? It ended up
But it's a
being
very simplified version. It's a white background. It's essentially a
Mhm.
line drawing with some clip art sort type images
No, I
that are just
sketched
like,
those.
well, I don't want to say that they are clip art, but I'm saying they're clip art type.
Ah,
Like
yes, yes,
they're
yes, yes, yes.
they're in that kind of, if you're thinking about that, if you're just
hmm
listening, they kind of just look like little silhouettes of what they
Yes.
are to
hmm
communicate to the artist who then will
Yeah.
turn it into something way more
The
intricate.
final
So a basic
product.
sort of, yeah.
Right, right. And the final product is this really beautiful damask style for like the characters in the shape that I wanted.
Way different, way
Way
different.
different, way better.
Yeah, so
Right?
then so
Yeah.
then that ends up becoming this fully fleshed out
hmm
design that's very intricate, but it was
Right.
essentially just a reference for them, you know,
Like a
which
for both like design for the art and also for layout because fabric
yeah.
layout is really important.
Hmm.
And then another really fun one that I showed in my Facebook Lives for my group is this really terrible for stack design. I just
So
like
it's a bunch of like stick figure arts and animals surrounded by an image
of the
of
characters.
of a character in the center.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes,
literally like a scribble almost.
yes. And I'm just like, I want the different dinosaur or like the bear or whatever, or the mage, whatever, in the corner and stuff like that. And oh my God, this one's so bad. Do you want to see my Bridgerton? Okay, this is where the Bridgerton design came from. Okay, it's just look at the stick art.
So I just said that the last thing we looked at was a scribble. I
This
would
is
like to say this is the scribble. This is the most basic of stick figures. There are no legs. It is a torso with arms, with smiley faces, and a stick figure. And then there's a bunch of swirly swirlies
flowers.
and tossed around here and there.
Yes,
And then we're going to turn into,
not that.
let's see it.
And that was the original concept. And actually, and then I swerved, and I changed to portrait styles. I wanted a nouveau
Okay.
portrait
All right.
style stick
So
figures.
now we're looking at
flowers.
like oval-shaped frames that have floral elements around it with stick figures. This time we're
figure
sans
couple.
faces this time.
Yes,
But
no
we're
faces, just vibes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're working with artists every step of the way.
Yes. So it's a very intense process. And that's why I think some of the stuff is a little bit crazy. And it's really hard to scale too sometimes because some of these artworks are massive. So
Right. The more intricate they are, the harder it is to scale it down. And so we
Right.
actually have some questions about
hmm
the prints and their scaling and stuff like that
Oh, interesting. Okay.
in our next segment,
Right.
which is, well, I say next. It's really the only segment we have other but the final press pass segment.
Okay.
So this is listener questions submitted from Patreon.
Okay.
So we had two people that submitted questions through Patreon. We had Tara and Jessica.
Okay.
And so one of the questions was, what is your favorite fabric base?
Oh, my favorite fabric base. Let me think. Waterproof canvas. The
That's the
100%
one I like.
cotton.
That's
The
the one I
100%
like.
cotton canvas. Yes. And you know
Yes.
why I like it? Because not only is it durable, and it is water resistant, and it's 100% cotton, um, but also because the print color and the lines are so crisp. I know some people
Yeah.
love vinyl, but for some reason, vinyl, it's always not as crisp on it sometimes. Like
And
the
the
print
colors aren't always as
colors are
saturated.
off. Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. That's my favorite based on you. And
Hmm.
I stopped buying custom vinyl for the most part, other than
Oh,
DeBossed.
okay.
I only do that because the colors tend to wear off of vinyl,
Yes.
because it's ink on top of vinyl.
Hmm.
And so for custom prints, I tend to not do that, and I just get
Hmm.
canvas now. And if it's a bag, if it's a pattern that can't use canvas, then I won't
Yeah.
use it. I won't use a print on that one, right? But it's great because you can use it on the exterior, interior. It's a perfect way. I really, really
Yes.
love that one. I think that's
Versatile.
yes, I think
Right.
that's the one that I have used for the open sews as one of
Yeah.
the gifts. I think that I've ordered those from you.
Well, also the fabric is just bigger, so you could get more of the artwork on it because
Yeah.
I feel like vinyl is very limited and it's actually really, really hard to scale art design onto vinyl because I'm crazy. I want to make sure you get everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate it when you can't get it perfectly on there and your like images are cut off or parts are cut
Right.
off because it's
Right,
so
because you have 18-inch
expensive.
sections to work with, essentially, because that's the
Right.
length of vinyls. And so
Hmm.
if you have it big enough to see all the details in the print, but that means that you maybe only have like 12 inches that's usable, and then the rest
Yes.
is kind of like
Throw
not
away.
because
Yeah.
half of it is cut off, and
Hmm.
characters' heads may be cut off or something. That's not really something you're going to want to put on the front of a bag.
Yes.
So that's tough too. So you actually started running it in yards for some prints. I don't know if you still do
Yes.
that, but
No.
that's a lot of extra work
Too
because
much
of
work.
storage and shipping and
So you have to get a special box for that. And it's
yeah,
really expensive and people
yeah,
might not always want to pay for that box, you know?
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next question is, what would you love to see done with your prints?
I love seeing pretty much anything people make because I'm so freaking proud of every design. I love
Mm-hmm.
seeing the bags. I love seeing the clothes. I love seeing people represent it. And you know what I also found out and that excites me so much? People have told me they'll see people wearing Alchemat stuff at conventions or whatever, and then they'll know where it's from. They'll like be like, "Oh my God, are
Mm-hmm.
you wearing Alchemist?" Like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, yes, I am." And they'll
Mm-hmm.
it'd be that icebreaker for them to like be
Mm-hmm.
friends. And I just love that. That is probably the best and my most favorite part is the connections that you make
Yeah.
through these materials. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
I think that's totally agreeable.
Hmm.
How do you decide what prints to run in your reruns and why limit the options? Essentially, I think they also
Uh-huh.
added some text to this saying that like there are other shops that essentially open up their whole catalog
Right.
every pre-order. Why
Hmm.
don't you do that? And how
I
do you decide?
Right. I think I touched up on this earlier in the interview, where or podcast, and I was talking about how like at least in the early days, it was a huge, intense process behind the scenes and a lot of work. And it's very, very overwhelming to
With
get
that
everything on the
spreadsheet
site.
and stuff like
That
that.
spreadsheet was terrible, but now it's much better. But I still, again, it's still a lot of work, whether, whatever I do, it's still a lot when everything comes in for processing. So I just try to limit myself and try to quiet my overly, need to please. And try to like, if it's smaller, it's because I'm trying to like work on my mental health.
Right. So you're trying, so
Mhm.
you were saying before you do these dedicated smaller rounds or drops. And
Smaller.
so,
Mhm.
right, right, all in
Quote,
quotations
quote.
smaller.
Right.
But, you know, probably, you have fabric, so you need to run the hardware for that too, if you can.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so, but then after you do all that running, then you have flaws or they have minimum
There's
quantities. So you
delays.
can't, yeah. So fabric is different. There aren't as many minimums for some things. There
Right.
are for some bases or some offerings, such as debossed and specific vinyls and things like that.
Hmm.
But not when it comes to fabric for the most part. But like hardware is different. You have
Yes.
minimum quantities of how many on average for like a new mold or for a rerun or restocking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I try to keep everything as a collection so that all matches, but you're dealing with things at different speeds of stuff, right? And if issues happen, then things drag out and then it's like a huge headache. And I try to minimize unhappy customers. And I've had situations where it was like horrible, where me, with something like something flawed happened, and then I do my best to, make the best of the situation, and then I just got eviscerated from it. Like, can I be like real talk and tell you a little story about that? So like I've had, people upset with me because, with the delays and issues, they were frustrated, which is understandable. And I totally get it. And it's one of those situations, again, like I told you, I like to take bad things and turn around to be more productive. So I do have to thank that person for actually pushing me to get a better supplier and have a better process. But in the early days, well, I don't think it was that early. It was like,
I think it was like a year ago.
it was pretty
A year
recent.
and a half ago, something like that. It was definitely some point in 2024.
Yes, but again, nobody looked for this, okay? I've moved on. But I wanted to share because this is a real thing that owners have to deal with sometimes when things get out of hand, right? Especially when you're trying to deal with pre-orders and delays and issues and whatnot, and it's kind of scary. So the person got really upset and decided that they should post on in their own group business and they offered a gift card to people if they would comment and engage with that post, and just like eviscerating me. Totally just saying I'm a horrible owner and I have all these issues, and she doesn't believe that at all, because how am I not able to process and ship everything out faster, right? Because she's able to do 100 orders at a time. And I'm sitting there like, do you want a job? Because I would love to hire you if you could like pack out 100 orders. And I've had people come to my shop and help me process, and there's no way you can do that many in a day. Like, you're lucky to get maybe like 20-ish a day, because there's so many little parts and pieces. I offer so many different things. Hardware is a completely different beast than fabric. Yeah. And even suppliers, even though I pay for them to cut and fold it for me and like kind of package them into orders or whatever, I still got to check. I still got to go through.
You have to check for flaws. You have to quality check before it goes out the door, which takes time.
Make sure it's in there. Right. Make sure it's in there. Make sure it's good. And I still got to pack and ship it. So there's no way that I can offer that. Yeah. So
no. And, we have talked about this before, but like,
right.
You can't compare business to business like that. And I touched on this, I think, with Nico, where I said, I have told friends in the past, you have no idea what's in their bank account. You have no idea how they're actually, if they're in the green, how they're handling it on a day-to-day basis. You really have no idea. This person who said those things is making all sorts of assumptions with no information. And, there's the whole like dad saying of, what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me.
Yes.
And, but it's so true. And so it's unfortunate. I mean, I get it.
Yes.
But the thing is you're so transparent. You do put a lot of information out there.
Right.
And so I will say that, you put so much information out there that sometimes people have to go fishing for it a little bit, but that's because you're overly transparent. I'm the same way with my test group. And I have been accused of being overly communicative.
That's me too. Right.
And I'm like, I get that. But I'd rather be overly than underly.
I agree with, because I think by being overly transparent, I feel like the customers feel better about it. They know that you're not just going to run off with their money, and it eases
Or you can
them.
refer back to like, on this post on this day I made the masses aware of it. I understand it's hard in a group to find information, but the information's there. And there's always ways that we can improve and do things better, for sure. But to drag another business when you have literally no information, you're only seeing things from an outsider, minimalist perspective. You have no insight. It's pretty unprofessional, and I'm sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. Well, it's not okay, but I get it. People do crazy things when they're frustrated, but I definitely think it's not okay when you do that to their livelihood and their actual life, because I would never do that, even if I didn't like someone.
incite, some people to go and pitchfork,
right.
On their behalf. That's not okay.
No, and I had to post a response to that, even though I didn't want to, and I'm really glad I had like media training a little bit, because I wanted to be very open and honest and try to like make sure people knew where I was coming from. And I was really, really freaking lucky. And I say this in a lot of my Facebook lives all the time. I'm sure people roll their eyes when I talk about it, but I genuinely feel this. But I'm so freaking lucky for my community, my customers, and people in the Alchemats world, because everyone is so incredibly kind to me and patient and understanding. And if they're not, they don't tell me, so I'm really glad. I don't want to hear it. But they genuinely believe in me, and that money cannot buy that. They genuinely believe in me and love me as a person and not just as a business, and as a, owner or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, so next question.
Next question.
Got a bit of a tangent with that one, but that's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, we're good. I helped us get there. No. We're leaving it in there. We're leaving it in there. Okay, what is your all-time favorite fandom?
Ah! That is so hard. I can't say I love everything, but it's true. Okay,
You have to pick one. If you had to pick one.
But, okay.
If you were on an island and you had to take one fandom that you could engage in, what would it be?
Oh my God. Okay.
Probably WoW, maybe?
For video games, World of Warcraft, yes. But for fandom, it's a toss-up between Star Wars and Pokemon. And I think you can tell by the ridiculous amount of stuff.
Both. Yes.
I have.
Yes. Okay. So, Olivia has mentioned a couple times that she's a gamer. I have mentioned in various other times that I play various games as well. Olivia and I have played WoW together, Diablo together, and now we are playing Palia. I've called it Palia. I still want it to be called Palia, but apparently I watched a video from the devs where it's Palia, which is a dumb name, but okay.
Whatever. I'm going to still call it Palia. It's fine.
Okay.
Because we're pals.
That's what I'm saying. Go pal around in Palia.
Right.
I have plushies. They're my pals.
Yes.
Anyway. The villagers, they're my pals. So if you don't know what Palia is, it's essentially a cozy MMO. If you like Sims, if you liked Animal Crossing, and if you want a community that's mostly women, which is wonderful. It's the most supportive, kindest community. So the only time it ever gets toxic is when you go online. That's when you
don't go there.
But you stay in the game. It's very positive. It's a wonderful place.
Right.
It's free to play. So it's free to play, but it costs money to accessorize. And a lot of it. But what is your favorite aspect of Palia?
Palia. Oh my gosh. There's so much. So I'm not good at decorating. That's a you thing. So I'm really jealous of that. But I think my favorite aspect, and it's also my favorite aspect in all games, is collecting. I love collecting all the things as a nerd, crazy collector thing. So catching bugs, fishing, because I want to deck out and display all the cool stuff I get. Plushies. So I love all of that, the collecting of it all. And I think that's where my love for Pokemon came from too. Just gotta get them all,
Yeah. For sure. I love the grind when it comes to most things. I love the grind when it comes to collecting. Like, I want to go out and I want to mine for hours. I want to do I'll have a book plan and I will I'll be doing that. I'll be fishing for hours. I love it. So it's very much a gathering, fun game. Highly recommend it. I really enjoy it.
So nice. It's not toxic.
They're so nice. And again, mostly women. Women.
We work together. It's great.
Yeah. Yes. I'm the kind of person that will play a game and I'm going to collect as much as I'm not going to min-max and I'm not going to 100%, but I'm going to do a lot. And I'm very dedicated, so I'm going to be out there grinding. And so when I get off here, I'm going to be going.
Love that min-max life. Sorry. It's because of World of Warcraft. That's like what I'm a little bit of an elitist when it comes to games sometimes.
But not in Palia, not yet.
Not in Palia yet.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, I can say that I have all of the Steam achievements on Palia.
Oh, shoot.
So I might be min-maxing a little bit here. These are a lot of video game terms that we lost a lot of people, but we love it.
They're like, what the heck is this person talking? Well, who knows? Maybe they're secret Palia players.
If you are a Palia player, please drop your IGN so we can be friends. I already have one person, Jessica, from the Patreon, who has now friended me on Palia. She came and saw my plot. I got to go see her plot. Yeah.
Love me too. Come to my plot. Wait, don't come to my plot.
She's my friend, Olivia. She's mine. She's mine. I found her first.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So the last part of the podcast is that we do. Well, that's not true. We have one more part of the final press pass, which is that it's now your turn to ask me a question.
Oh, okay. I actually had to think about this. Okay, let me think. Hold on, I think I wrote it down so I don't forget. Oh, here it is. Yes. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
It's related.
I'm ready for it. I never know what these questions are, so as long as you people are aware, I'm hearing it for the first time.
Right.
Unlike her. I'm not prepared.
Okay, you got this. I believe in you. Okay. So my question is, what is your goal for the podcast? And where and what direction would you like to see it go? And from a business standpoint for yourself and for your guests.
So, okay, that's good. It relates back to, I can tell that you're pretty much in the podcast frame of mind with this question. I love that for you. Mm-hmm. Easy for me. So for me, the goal of the podcast was I wanted people, and I say people, and the capital P is essentially everyone in our community who were similar to me, where we felt disconnected. You know, when you scroll on a feed anywhere now, it's ad, either from a pattern design. There's a pattern released every single day, if not one, more than one. There are rounds running constantly. Every day you'll see an advertisement for a pre-order somewhere. And I get that all those things are important. At the same time, it's exhausting if you're not engaging with that and you just want to see people make cool stuff. You want to see people make cool stuff sometimes without the incentive or without an advertisement attached to it, right?
Right.
And so I pulled away from a lot of social media, and I really didn't like how I was feeling every time I got on. And it was just like, not only am I going to see 4 billion Facebook ads, but now I'm seeing ads in all my sewing communities. And I just wanted to get back to the plot a little bit. I wanted to hear, I wanted to be able to share your stories. I wanted to share my stories. And I wanted to give perspectives that we weren't really getting outside of the normal advertising and things like that. And I had these conversations with people either through texting or in person. And I just so many times had the thought that I just really wanted to share that. And so my goal is to do that, is to share that, to connect us a little bit more, to remind us that like, hey, this is why the hell we're doing this. And like, we're not alone and things like, I just wanted to feel that connection, but also give people opportunities to share their story. You know, like I think that you deserve to be able to have a place in which to share your story. That's not like, hey guys, listen about me right now. Okay, so back to my story. You know, like I don't that's kind of strange to do in a setting like a Facebook group, you know, when you're not constantly engaging that way. And so I just wanted to have a specific special place where we can go and it's always going to be there, right? Which is really cool. Like
find that
these
community
things are exist
again
forever. Yeah.
Right.
And so what do I see for it in the future as far as business related? I would like it to not cost me as much money. The podcast alone has subscription fees for the various things that I have to do. all the equipment, the mic
Uh-huh.
alone was like $400.
Jeez.
I know. So I just upgraded some equipment. I have Patreon subscribers, so
Mm-hmm.
all of these things were upfront costs for me, and so
Yes.
the Patreon helps me take that cost down a little bit, which
Yes.
is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that people have really loved it, they've engaged with it, and
Yes.
so it's something that I want to be able to keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it to be my full-time gig. I want it to
Right.
be a part-time gig.
And kind of fun, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there's only so many people in our sewing community,
Right.
So I'll run
Exactly.
out of,
Yeah.
big
I don't
names
think so.
eventually.
Ah.
Big, we'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
so I'd like to finish out this season. Nobody has backed out on an episode yet, and so we still have all those episodes planned, and then we'll take a break, get back to some other things, designing and stuff like that, and hopefully we'll do season 2. But yeah, I wanted, it's selfish. I want to do it for me, right? I want this
Yes.
to exist, but I also want it to exist for other people and give insight that we might not be able to get otherwise. So
I think you're doing fan freaking tastic. Had a really great time.
thank you.
I love this. This is so fun, and I told you from the get-go this is the coolest thing ever. I'm so glad to be a
Thank
part
you.
of it. And I want you to continue it. I want you to be able to keep doing the thing. So I hope more people will support this and help you with be able to keep doing the thing and maybe offer cool stuff, more things in the future. Who knows where
I
it will
know,
go,
yeah. I
right?
know. I'm the queen of like, this is probably be a good idea, and maybe I'll do it one day, and then 2 years has gone down, and I've done it finally. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Love that.
You need
Um,
to accept people that want to support you, that want to do this for you because they love you and they want to see this
mhm.
be a thing. And I think it's such, you're offering an opportunity for not just owners or people in the community, but for people that are listening. And I really think you're offering like an insight and a chance for people to find out about things that they would never had a chance to like learn about
Right,
or talk
exactly.
to. So
That's the
there's
goal.
value in that. I love
Right.
that. I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but
That's okay. That's okay. I'm out of focus. There we go. Um, no, I thank you for asking that.
yeah,
I,
I'm so
I
proud
kind
of
of went
you
over.
too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
It's fun. It's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe it exists still. I say that every episode, and I'm probably
Yeah.
going to continue to say that every episode, but hey, it's a cool damn thing. But I live one
Mm-hmm.
time, I have
Yes.
one time on this path,
On
and
this
so
earth.
I would,
Yeah.
yeah, so I would like to just do the damn thing, and not regret that I never did it. And so here I am doing the damn thing.
Yeah, you
So
should do that as a sticker. Do the thing. Do the damn thing.
make it exist.
Yes, do it for this podcast.
Okay, so we'll
Okay.
see. No promises. I'm not good at
okay.
promises. But so the
Okay.
last part is the things that you leave for listeners, a thought, a mantra, something like that. One of my favorites from my favorite Fool of a Took is shortcuts make long delays.
Damn, do I know that? Yep. Yep.
That's, every time that I decide to cut a corner or skip on something, boy, do I regret it. And half the time I'll redo it. So to me, it's important to keep that in mind. So what about you? Do you have anything you'd like to leave our listeners?
For me, I think this is something we've talked about before, but I genuinely believe people should be kinder to themselves, love themselves a little more, talk to yourself like you're your best friend, because sometimes we're our own worst enemies. And you have to understand there's some mediocre random weirdo out there that's doing the thing, and you absolutely have everything in your power to do the thing that you want to do. So just do it. And it's okay to mess up. Messing up is part of the process. I think we hyper focus and have way too much high of expectations on ourselves. Okay. And should be a little forgiving.
No idea who you're talking about.
Right? And yeah, I just think like just love yourself because it'll pan out. It'll be okay. And I think it's important. Mental health is just really important. I hope people will stop comparing ourselves to others. I am guilty of that.
Yes. But that that's something that you and Lauren both have taught me over the last few years, and I take it to heart. Is, and I even catch myself saying things about myself that, like, if I heard my friend say that,
Would you
or
be cool with
somebody
that?
say that about my friend, I'd be like,
Right.
and so Lauren would be like, you kind of told me that, and then I reiterated it to Lauren, and Lauren's like, yeah, don't talk about my friend like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, so like that's the vibe, that's the thing you need to have in the background, while you're going about your day, think about yourself and the way you think about your friend. And that has helped me be a lot kinder to myself.
Yes.
I have very high expectations for myself. Probably too high, but I think it's okay to aim high and fall
Yeah.
short than, aim low and
Right.
barely meet that standard. So, but again, be kind, be okay. It's okay to fail,
Yes, it's okay.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
And I think that like people and this is something I learned in like in the costuming world too. I will hyper fixate on every little tiny flaw in that picture, like all like a thread sticking out or something like that. And then but then you have to remember majority of the people are not going to see that. They're going to be like that's a damn cool bag, right?
That I
Hmm.
agree with that on some, but on some aspects, but sometimes I think like that's a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope to lower quality. I
Maybe no,
can't do
no, no,
it.
no.
I can't do it. Every
Yeah,
stitch matters.
but
Every stitch matters.
true, I agree with that, but I also feel like we put ourselves at a higher standard than even like high end
Oh, I
brands.
know. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
fully aware. But I think that's what sets us. I think that's a strength. And
that is
and
true.
so for
Yes.
my brain,
Hmm.
yes, it doesn't feel good to stress about every single stitch,
Hmm.
but I know that I'm going to be happier about it when I'm done. And so
Right. Hmm.
if I care that much when I make it, then in reality, when it's all done, I'm going to be that much happier about it because
Hmm.
I checked all those boxes along the way.
Right.
So yes and no. For me though, in my brain, we all know
Dang
Shannon
it.
sees Shannon sees every detail the way that she shouldn't, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Shannon is
Well,
perfect in my eyes, so stop.
I'm talking about your best friend in a bad way.
What? Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me and, being
Of course.
transparent, opening up. You talked about some things that have happened to you that,
Yeah.
aren't easy to kind of put out
No.
there,
Some spicy
air.
things, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and yeah, I appreciate your vulnerability and your honesty in that. And yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for your positivity too. And
Yes. Well,
I
thank you
hope to
for
have you
having
back.
me. Oh, I definitely
Absolutely.
want to come back if you'll have me. Yeah.
I make no promises, but
I need
but
everyone listening to this to bug her and have me come back. Assuming you don't find me annoying. Okay.
why are you talking to my best friend like that?
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. My bad.
All right. All right. I don't know how many of you we lost for the gaming portion, but if you're back, welcome back. Um, we are a bunch of nerds. We're friends. We joke, we laugh, and we talk about the real shit. It is what it is. I hope that you enjoyed that. I think that closer to the end of the episode, you really kind of picked up on that chemistry that we can have sometimes while chatting. We really can feed off of each other sometimes, which is nice to have in a friendship. So, both with this episode and the last one with Nikki, unfortunately, I forgot to ask both of them there to share their social media handles and where you can contact them and shop from them. So I'm going to do that now again for both episodes. So you can find Nikki on TikTok and Instagram at Nikki, Niki _makes for again both of those. She does have a Facebook group, but that's solely for customers, and most of the people that are listening to this are not going to be customers. They're going to be more along the lines of fellow makers, and she really wants that space to be safe for her to just sell to her customers. So I'm not going to be sharing that group, but just know if you would like to be a customer of hers, I would recommend you to reach out to her and ask her that. But again, I'm not going to push you to her group for that reason. It's just a mutual respect that I've been there, I've done that, I know what it's like. So for Olivia, her main point of communication with her customers is through her Facebook group, which is Alchemats. And so you could find that going to facebook.com/groups/ALCHEMATS. You could also just search Alchemats. Again, that's ALCHEMATS. You can find her on Instagram at Alchemats Designs, on TikTok at Alchemats. Her website is alchemats.com, and then her offshoot of that, the new website we talked about very early in the conversation, is basic-crafts.com. So Nikki's information was linked in the previous episode, so I'm not going to link those below, but Olivia's information will all be linked in the episode notes or the video description below. So as we wind down the episode, it is of course time for the Seam Society shoutouts. If you don't know what that is a perk given to Patreon subscribers for the $10 tier. So along with the Seam Society shoutouts, you also get to ask listener questions that get featured in the show. You get some behind the scenes content. I will upload videos either just where I talk to you as Patreon members or clips of the episode, pictures of the episode, kind of just information about the kind of inner workings of creating this thing that you wouldn't get to see otherwise. So my first Seam Society shout out is a 2-for-1 this time, because I thought it would be fun to share the story. But Tara and Laurel were both at my first Sew Whatever Studio class for the Rowena, and they really hit it off. They became really good friends. And since then, they have been to my other two classes, my other two open sews at the Sew Whatever Studio. They're good friends of mine. I got them to be big Dungeon Crawler Carl fans, and I'm so happy to have friends that I can confide in and joke with about such a crazy thing that whole book series is. But yeah, so I just thought it was really special. It was really fun that I was able to kind of facilitate this friendship and then see it flourish. So thank you so much for supporting me and the show. And yeah, I'm so happy that we can all call each other friends. Jessica A, aka Hexenjoy, thank you so much for your support, and thanks for meeting me in the virtual world that is Palia. Huavang, thank you for your support. Olivia C, well, we just talked on this episode for like over 2 hours, so I think you probably know that I really appreciate your support, but just in case, thank you so very much. Stacy K, thank you so much for supporting the show. Jabby S, thank you for your support. Greg H, thank you for supporting Splitting Seams. Nyasha J, thank you so much, and welcome to the Seam Society. Ash, proofer extraordinaire, and probably one of the smartest people I know. Welcome to Seam Society, and thank you so much for joining. One more thing before we go. If you're interested in some Splitting Seams merch, again, this is a passion project for me. It's not a big money maker. And so I'm being a little apprehensive about how much I invest in merch, but I did order stickers and they are available on the site now. So there is a smaller version of the logo that is matte holographic, which is really fun. I really like this matte holographic sheen. Really good quality stickers here. And then also with the larger version, it is white background with the logo, and the logo itself is slightly embossed. So it's just a way to support the show, toss a couple bucks my way, help keep the lights on, help fund fun things like this. So with that said, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting the show. Your reviews, they don't go unnoticed. I absolutely love reading them. I have gotten such wonderful feedback on every platform. It's so encouraging and so wonderful. And it just proves that like this space is such a wonderful, safe space that, you know, we all have been needing and wanting, and I'm just so happy that it exists now. So if you haven't left a review, please feel free to do so. You can do that on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. You can write a comment on the episode. Truly, all of those things, they all get read, It's so wonderful to see them, and not only by me, but also by the guests too. You know, they get to read all those kind things that you say about them. So if you have a moment, please take it and just say something nice if you have it in you to say that. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you next time.